Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is General with Trading the Charts Pro. Guys, we're back with one more video, and in this video we're going to break down the overall market, and I'm going to walk you through multiple different ways of using technical analysis to analyze the current price action of the market to see where is this market looking to go into this upcoming week. All right, so we're going to start off with the S&P 500. We're going to work our way to the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, and also the Russell 2000 to come up with a clear idea of how we should be looking to trade or treat this market in this upcoming week. All right, so guys, we have the S&P 500 chart up here, starting from the daily time frame, because we want to go a little bit granular to make sure we're seeing all the details and we're able to pinpoint exactly what this market is basically doing. All right, and you guys already know when it comes to this market, we never listen to the news. We only use the technicals as our guide to know how we need to be treating this specific market or the market that we're currently in. All right, so last video, guys, we talked about how the market break down out of this uptrending channel here. We talk about the market breaking down below the horizontal support also. So I think my last video was somewhere around this level, where I identified that the support level that we will be watching was going to be right into this 4300 level. Sometimes, when you call the price action ahead of time and you come back and you look at it, somebody will like, well, how do I know that price action was going to come to this level? Yeah, price broke down, went a little bit lower, but clearly we see that buyers pretty much love this action right here, and I was able to come to the conclusion of this price level based on what price has done over here before. So remember, we talked about how the market fell, or the S&P 500 fell out of its trend and found what looked like a inverse head and shoulders pattern here back in September. Well, now that the market break back down, or when it was on its way down, given that the trend support was no longer in play, then we have to start looking at what other information do we have that we're able to use to our advantage to find where is a potential bottom for the charts. All right, and we see clearly that there was a lot of action right here around the 4300 level. Therefore, that was my reason for calling that 4300 level as support for the S&P 500. Now, a lot of things that happened since that video. Market bounce at that level, came up. I was just watching, trading some of this stuff, the bounce. I caught the bounce. Market pull back down. We had the low price bounce off support. Market run up, put in the first high. Market pull back. We had the first higher low. If we're using Dow theory, which is how price action move based on higher highs and higher lows, right? So this was a nice formulation for a uptrend until earlier this week, where literally I'd almost say the market put in a double top, but the price action wasn't exactly, didn't hit the exact same level. So I pretty much somewhat point this as a lower high right here. And if you add the moving averages to this, which is critical, you would have seen that the moving average right here, I think it was the 200 SMA, is right around 4600. So the market run up to that 200 SMA, pull back, came back, test, and then the market started to roll over again. So in order for us to really know what's going on now, there's a couple things that I'm watching. First, before I get too bearish, on Friday, took a quick short. We saw the market was breaking this short-term uptrend support line, where it somewhat bounced off here, where it was the higher low. So once we see that breaking to the downside, there is two things that I'm looking for. Is this just a retracement from this move coming back down here? This level that I identify right here, 4400, that's the 50% retracement based on this entire move right here. And we see the market came right to that level, kissed it, and a little bit of buying, nothing too interesting that's showing me that this is going to be a turnaround here as yet. So for the S&P 500, when we come into next week or when the market open on Monday, I'm looking to see, is this thing going to continue pushing down to the 61.8 retracement level, and are we going to get some form of hook or some form of turnaround sideways movement inside this level that can potentially lead to a move back up, or this can just pause here short term before we break down to come back down and test the support level here, which would end up moving some way back up if the S&P 500 is not able to hold after it breaks down from the retracement level back into support 4300. Then this market is in for a major set of troubles. But I don't like to jump all the way there yet. I like to take it one step at a time. So right now we're watching the retracement levels. If the retracement levels is not able to hold for the S&P 500, then I'm looking for this thing to come back down and do a double bottom off support at 4300. And if that support is not able to hold, then we'll come back in and do a new analysis in terms of where will the S&P 500 go next from that current level. All right, so this is the technicals. This is how I'm looking at the S&P 500 moving into next week. It's not doom and gloom yet. We just have to take it one step at a time, and as the market moves, we'll have more information to further put our technical analysis together and navigate where this market is going. All right, so we're gonna move on over, guys. We're gonna look at the NASDAQ tech, one of our favorite place to trade if you're looking for growth, if you're looking to take on some of those bigger profits that tend to move a little bit faster. All right, so as far as the NASDAQ chart goes, guys, I'd like to look at this in the same context of the S&P 500, in the sense that just like the S&P 500, NASDAQ broke its major trend, and we start looking at levels below. This was one level that I was watching, 14,500, but the major level, when I did the last video, I think we were close right here. I didn't have a lot of confidence in this level because, like I say, there wasn't any major price action around 1400 before, or 14,500 before, that would give me confidence that this market was going to be able to hold up at that level. What I really resorted to was old resistance over here, which practically became support at one time, or resistance here. Price came down, boom, breakout, consolidated at that level, and then price moved back to the upside. So now the market is coming back down. This 1400 level, or 14,000 level, was a critical level for me in terms of my analysis of where the market can go, right? And if we look at it, the market is treading lower little by little. This was the first low into the trend line, where it broke a little bit, came back up, we got a lower high, and from there the market pushed down and made a lower low. All right, so we got to watch out, guys. This thing is not a joke. We got to take it serious and pay attention to all the information that the market is giving, so that we can piece it together as the market moves, right? Because a lot of times you look back and you'll be like, well, how did I not see that it was clear that the market was going to tank, or the market was going to go lower? It's because you weren't putting the pieces to the puzzle as the pieces were given to you. Meaning, as the market transcribed more information, you have to plot it into the analysis and map the chart as we go along, so that you can know, okay, where's the projected move, where is the major support, where is an opportunity to go short, where's an opportunity to go long, where is it overdone. All right, so boom, market put in its lower low right here into the 14,000 level, right? And we had a nice consolidation at that level. Price moved back up. However, guys, this is still a lower high, because this high didn't even come anywhere close to the last high. So though the market is rallying, the market is gradually moving lower, right? So NASDAQ looks pretty close to the S&P 500. My thesis is just as, the same for the S&P 500, where on Friday we had this very nice break of the short-term uptrending support line here, which we know once that break, then is price action coming back to the downside. And you see, man, we pushed down very hard on Friday. So what I'm looking for on Monday is, do we hold up again at 14,000, right? Because at 14,000, this has a probability to now become a W pattern. All right. So this is how I'm looking at it from a technical basis. So NASDAQ needs to come back and test and hold the 1400. The lowest point this thing can possibly come is 13,800, where, this is where we got these long wicks down here, show that there's major buying at that level. So that's what I'm looking for the NDX. I'm not worried about this thing coming down to 13,000, not as yet. If we do come and break and put in a new low around 13,600, then ultimately that opens the door for the NASDAQ to move on down to 13,000, but we're not there yet. So right now, let's watch NASDAQ for this area, 14,000 to 13,800 on the downside, and we're looking for a consolidation around that level that would enable this thing to consolidate, at least in the short term, and then we will come back in, do another analysis on where we see the price action going from that point. All right, so this is what we're looking for, more downwards pressure both on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. All right, guys, so let's move on over and see what the Dow Jones have in store for us in this upcoming week. Guys, last video I talked about the NASDAQ, that hey, as far as the NASDAQ goes, there was nothing structurally changed, or there was no new information as far as the NASDAQ market goes, because if you look on the chart, we have the support level here, support level here. It's very clear. Last video we were right here, and my analysis was that this thing would continue pushing down into the 33,500 level, and at that point we'll look for this thing to get a bounce and start moving back to the upside. We got the bounce, right? Market run right back up into that short-term resistance, which resistance here, resistance became support at this point, but eventually we break down, market came back into that level, test could not break above that level, and now here this thing is turning back around. So the way I'm looking at this right here right now is, I'm really just looking to see, is this thing going to continue pushing down and come back down into this support level, and at that point again I'm looking for this pattern to change. Even though we're still in a channel, I'm looking for a double bottom here, bounce off the support to push it back up. If at any given point during next week the Dow Jones market, JI, is able to break below and close below 33,500, guys, this pretty much is showing us that we just have a lot more pain to the downside inside this market. All right, but as it is right now, I'm just looking to see, all right, are we gonna come down back to the 33,500 as far as the Dow, and we would look for the same thing that happened, support. So that's what I'm looking for Dow Jones. All right, let's move on over and look at the Russell 2000, see what do we have in store for small cap stocks leading into next week. Right, small cap stocks, this group has been one of the weakest group as the market sell off, because there has been a lot of structural change here. First, Russell 2000 was, in a very strong sideways channel for over a year, man. And then I was excited about the breakout, which was the all-time high for this thing, which pretty much was a fake out. This thing came down, and now that I look at it closer, this thing was actually trending down while it was in the channel. So the pattern had started to change, because here the market, or the Russell 2000, put in what is a lower high after it pushed down here, boom, right? Bounce off support. So it was a little bit hard. It was pretty much hard to see that at this point that things was really changing. And this is why I say that you have to be putting every piece of the puzzle together, because the market is really telling you something even when the direction of the market is changing. It's just that, it's in hindsight most of the time that you realize what the market was telling us. So when the Russell 2000 break below 2100, that's when I saw that things was really, in for a problem, which I pinpointed that a little bit before in an older video, where we got a breakout to the upside. It didn't hold. Price did not break out, hold resistance as support, and continue moving higher. Therefore, if price comes down and break below the support, it's gonna be big trouble, because price wasn't able to move higher to the upside. So there's a high probability that this market would sell off, right? So we get the breakdown of support. Price pushed down all the way to 1900, and that was the new low for this market, right? Then we had a nice rally back up, but this is where you have to pay attention, guys. Support, right, that was holding this thing while it was in the channel, now become resistance, right? And price action got rejected the moment it enters back into that 2100 level, and therefore we started to pull back. We haven't broke this short-term trend line as yet on the Russell 2000. However, if the market continues to have downward pressure into next week, I'm looking for this thing to continue moving back down, right? So if it comes down, take out 1900, this level here, then we'd look for the market to come in and put in a new low somewhere down here. But major support as far as the Russell 2000 goes, I'm looking for it to come and kiss 1700 and around 33. Why do I like that level? Well, that is the level. Don't do this to me. Okay, that is the level that price action literally was at before the market basically sold off, or before the market break out last time and started to move higher, right? So that's why I really like that level, and I'm setting it up to show you guys right now. So before this thing broke out 2020, right, this was the resistance level. Price broke out, went up, consolidated, now it's breaking back down. So I'm looking to see, okay, if it takes back out this new low here, then price is literally going to come back down here, and then we have a major reset of everything inside this market. All right, so guys, listen, be cautious, pay attention to the information that the market is giving to you, as the market is giving you this information. In times like these, you have to be very sharp on your analysis, or else you'll get tricked. Because, for example, with SPX, everybody thought we're going higher here, but what about your moving averages? Did you see that price action was not able to break back above its 200 SMA, in this case right here on the daily chart? If you were paying attention to that, then you would have been, on the lookout when we got here, that hey, there's a probability that the market can roll over. If we're using, your Dow theory, identify lower highs and lower highs, higher lows, then you'll also be tracking and then you'd also have the ability to see when the market didn't put in a higher high or a higher low that would enable it to continue moving to the upside. All right, so guys, I hope you found some value in this video. Throw your comments in. I look forward to seeing you in the chat. If there's anything that I didn't miss, then guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, thank you for watching.